Welcome to Spirit Baby Radio. I am your host, Kelly Meehan, a citizen of the universe and a passage keeper and mentor for our new Earth children. I believe we are entering into a new psychic structure of our reality, and it is meant to embody deeper trust and ways into solid self-love and fearless integrity. Our new world energy of spirit babies needs us to consciously create within conception, trust pregnancy, and have freedom to birth and parent from innate wisdom. This is Spirit Baby Radio. Welcome to episode 202, December 27th, 2024. Medical Intuition, Healing from the Inside Out, your new Earth body. How is your health? Are you feeling great or not so great? How are you going to access your own intuition with great trust and connection? What do you need to make 2025 fucking awesome? We're at the end of 2024. Ooh, maybe I should go into this year. I didn't even think about it. It's just all hitting me right now in this moment. Really working on being present, right? Because our past is our past. It molds us. It definitely does. There's no denying that. Maybe you've had a really hard journey over these months, and even though there's invisible lines between years, days, and seasons, there's something we do collectively, right? With the new year, the new energy. And 2025, it sounds like a fun number, doesn't it? And it's a very big year for me. I will be 50 years old. Oh my goodness. And this year has rocked my reality in so many ways. And yet I'm here. I'm strong, as you are too. Maybe your years got rocked before this, or maybe every year since 2020, feel like you're rocking on the boat way too much. I don't know. But in my reality, there's so much death. There's the death of people, family, there's the death of moving, there's the death of new things. And this really awesome woman I really enjoy connecting with and listening to, Jacqueline Hobbs, Oracle Girl, says, we die, maybe not quote her, something like this. She says, we die a thousand times a day. It's interesting, right? If we are in death all the time, it's not just this thing, right? We've created such a weird energy around grief and death and dying, and yet it's here all the time. And we move in and out of grief, we move in and out of love with that. And it's such a unique individual journey. And so wherever you are, 2024, like, see you later, it's gonna be gone. And what is your health like, right? This is the thing. And I know many are feeling, maybe you feel the good parts of your health, maybe the not so good parts, and maybe you have an expectation for 2025 and what then does that look like for you? I kind of like the idea of seasons. We change in seasons and we want to kind of reboot or detox or kind of connect with ourselves, but I don't know if it has to be done on the new year, but for some reason, the world has this fantasy or idea that all things, revolve around time and numbers and, wherever you're feeling, wherever you're at. And I always thought it was really fun to create a word for the year, right? Because so much happens and there is a lot that is going to keep happening. And we have to laugh. I have to laugh about it because there is such heartache and there's hard things, but then there's so much love, compassion, and connection. And I really see that with humanity, even though, yes, there is a dark side, there is a low frequency, but you know what? There's also a high frequency and there's compassion and there's love. And I see the good deeds of people around me quite often, even just recently when our car got stuck in snow going up into the mountains and we couldn't get out. And we didn't ask people to come help us. People started coming, trying to help us figure out how. And I had an emotional moment because to me, it's a big deal. When I see acts of compassion like this, where there's no self reward for it, I get emotional. I do. I get like when I see, when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm watching sometimes natural disasters pop up and I see people like helping people, like, wow, like that's really big. And what kind of frequency and energy am I holding? Am I, disappointed in people or the low frequency, the criminal. I don't have to spend all my time there. I acknowledge it, war and all these horrible things, but I also know that there's also the more expanded parts of love, of forgiveness, of compassion, of kindness. And I know I'm holding that deeper vision, as you may have too, for what's to come, right? What this new earth body is like, what this new future is like. And what about the new earth children? They are very different, and we keep evolving, I feel. And the children are very different in their energy. And if you're not seeing that, that means your frequency is just not in that space. It means you're just kind of wherever you are. But I know that I want to challenge myself all the time to evolve. And this is where the medical intuition comes in, right? It is a big challenge. I want to see, what am I seeing and how am I connecting and what is that, coming back to where is your health, and no matter what you're kind of setting up, really feeling positive and open to what comes. There's a lot of lineage, ancestral healings happening, some things you may not understand or even know, and other parts of the past are dissolving and rearranging and restructuring, which then brings you into your own co-creation and your ability to be one with your own health and healing. And something I speak about a lot is the intelligence of our own body's wisdom, not just the cells and the bones and the blood, but our energy of light, our consciousness, our mind. Our mind has a lot of power in how we are building a love relationship with ourselves. And I know we go in and out of this space. I mean, I'm a human being that has multidimensional truths and connections, as many of you do too. And you kind of sit in certain days of reflection, and other days you're being, right? Or other days you're playing, or other days you're in serious workspace, or other days you're in fear and being triggered into so many different parts. And yet I feel like our health is a top priority, and we see a lot of it, of course, through social media. Like back in the day, I came from, look at, how old I am now. I came from a time, I remember, where there's newspapers. You circled newspapers to get a job. You use payphones to make phone calls. And there was something, I feel like, that was nice about that, because there's no one watching you. There's no infiltration of EMFs. It was just a different time, which we are supposed to evolve into, right? But we also have to be so conscientious of our body and our energy and our mind and our spirit in the evolution of humanity. And I hold a positive perspective of the future timeline, and that will be where the frequency I enter into. I don't, I know people may disagree or not understand that, but if we are holding timelines that are of a low space, then that will be the timeline that you enter and stay into. And there's no one coming to gift you with anything. You have to do it yourself. You are your own light, your heart, whether you believe in whatever you believe in. If you don't believe in yourself, then it's going to be really tricky, because you're meant to believe in yourself. You are the divine, the source, the light. And what a beautiful gift that is, right? To be a human being in this time. I have to say that, right? Because in order for you to really move and expand into your new earth body, you may have to go through sickness. And that's not some spiritual sacred sacrifice, but that's what's just happening. And that the biology and nature, things happen and they get restructured and rescrambled. And then within worlds of energy, you're working towards healing. And I feel like maybe if you are struggling, I should say this, like maybe you're in a chronic space and your heart just feels, what am I doing? Like, what does this look like? Am I going to die? This is the number one thing people go into. Or am I going to be suffering and pain? And I send so much love out to you in that space, and that the reminder of your own connection to your own heart, your own love light, is everything to the journey, because in that space of your own grounded heart, you will get what you need externally. It'll be given to you. And I also want to see that even for financial abundance, right? That things will come to us in certain spaces of our own quiet, our own pause. And sometimes they don't look the way we want them to look. I know we have frustrations and scarcities, and some people are really living in deep survival, and not just survival of like life and home and food and shelter, but even survival of health, like sickness, chronic disease, like where is this moving? And these are real truths that are actually happening. And yet, I imagine someday there's a world where there's no sickness and disease. And can we all just sit for a moment and dream that into existence? Not just me alone. I know it's not just me alone. I know there's other people, beings toned into a frequency that says that we can live in a world where maybe money is more irrelevant and that sickness and disease don't actually exist. Can you actually enter into that layer? And maybe you can, maybe you can't, maybe you're not even sure what that means, but I want to challenge you to just receive that possibility and that energy, because when you do that, you open up something. And even just sitting in the quiet of the opening. And so your health is being rebooted. It is in alignment with love. It is clear. You are balanced. Let's just say that. How about that? And it's okay if you don't feel that positive. It's okay to be negative. You can still heal and be negative, by the way. I know many of you may be saying or connecting, yes, emotional energies do make us sick, but there's so much self-blame and so much hate, inner self-sabotage. Nothing's good enough. Love is not enough. Self-love, it's, addiction. There's so many things. My gosh, it's so exhausting to be human, right? I feel like there's so much more happening though. And again, if we are holding our own frequency of our own heart light in the spaces that sickness can dissolve, disease can dissolve. I've seen it, I've experienced it. And that these, whatever these perceived diagnoses that everybody has, right? I got my own list. That what do they become? Do they become a part of us, or do they become this thing outside? I'm looking through the window of whatever that contorted reality of energy is that doesn't have to possess me or take me over. As my dearest friend says, I do not consent. I'm not taking that story on, whether it's from the recent past or the really deep lineage past. You are as I like to say, a sovereign soul. You are a singular connection, of course, connected to all people, connected to so many different things beyond us, right? But yet you are whole at your core. And imagine just sitting with the wholeness of your core. It's pure. It's just here. It's friendly. It's trusting. It's available. And it's more than just a mindset. It's an experience of your whole sensing self, beyond your body even, maybe even beyond your mind. And maybe you have strong intentional energies, endings, right, for new beginnings. And we hear the word intuition a lot, right? What does that mean? Like, I'm this new earth body, can I be intuitive? And I think we've overused intuition too, right? We've overused it. But that's okay. I feel like I like the word instincts even. What is your instincts? It's biology, and do you trust it? And what are again, it's more than just your mindset, but also, an overusing of, we can overuse whatever this word is or what we think it is or what it becomes, but your instincts are everything. And let that guide you. Let that be a part of your connection to what serves you next, because it is instinctual when you're taking back your own health authority, your health freedom, because it is you that is going to build and attract the healing that you need. And some things are very subconscious that you will feel like you're failing, or your fear becomes so big you're not even sure what to do or how to be. And there are very scary moments. Or maybe you're watching loved ones. Having loved ones go through really traumatic things is not your storyline, right? It really isn't. And it is very hard. I had to watch that with both of my parents before they exited. It's a very challenging space, but yet we have to show up in our own wholeness and growth within it. And that there's always origins to everything. I really do feel that way because I see it from my medical intuitive perspective. I've been I like to challenge myself and really, it's hard when I scan a body. What makes it hard is there's a lot happening. I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, okay, this sovereign, beautiful, light-bodied soul has a story around them. And what is it that I can see and sense into these inconsistent energies that are creating issues, whether it's physiological, biological, cellular, but those parts are always deeply rooted into emotional reality, into this world. And we've really one-sided it. It's great to take your supplements and do your things, but why does that become the priority? It does. Our external becomes the priority, but our abilities to heal are so much more than those things that we place upon us or take inwardly. But again, we, I want to, again, maybe I want to challenge you into sinking into that space that has your full health, wellness, your own fertility, if you're in the fertile energy. Why do you perceive these parts of your being and your body to be broken? And how then can you evolve through that? And sometimes we don't have to sit there and wonder and deepen around the issue. We can just literally just fall inward into that space of unlimited healing. And then you may ask me, well, Kelly, how do we get to that unlimited healing? It's here. It's now, it's in the space. And only you can sit in that space and be in receiving relationship with it. And, there's so much more that's going to come up in your health space. Yes, the world is changing. The biology of the world is changing. The sun is changing. The atmosphere, space is changing. So we are going to feel the effects of that. But when we get to sit in quiet spaces of our own instincts, you get to hear things. You get to know how to resource yourself. I can't say enough how having a grounded nervous system is everything. And you can't think your way into a nervous system regulation. You cannot. You can only show up to embodiment practices, and there's so many kinds, not just one. You experiment with where you are every day as a new person. You go to sleep, you go through your many deaths in the day, you are refreshed, you are rebirthed. What is the new you want to meet with the day? Some days I'm like stretching and moving, and other days I feel more quiet and maybe I want to just take a warm bath or a warm shower and there's not a lot of movement. Other days it may be more sound coming out of me, the wooing sounds of just regulation, massaging my body with sound. Maybe there's days where it feels like I really need to move, like really move that energy, dancing. I need to move around and dance and really let this energy move. And other days it's more quiet. That to me is just moving into really loving self-care embodiment practices. And sometimes there is more work, like having healers and therapists and counselors that can hold your frequency with you so you can elevate. Like that to me is so powerful. And I'm very thankful to have spaces like that with many of these healers, counselors, therapists, and women I've connected with over the years. And this is why I want to be of service for that frequency and mentor space to help just be in the presence of elevation, right? Little words to be shared is like really incredible because everything comes back to energy, and it is. It's just, that's just, I don't create the answers and the insights to the universe, but many agree with that. There's something to what we are all in creation with together and individually. So I feel like I'm going to do another podcast, maybe what do we want for the new year, but maybe it'll be something else. I feel like it's all about community and gathering and, really just embracing with, moments of not just laughter and joy, but also moments of crying and grief and anger and whatever things come up your way. And only you can have your own love, passion for yourself. Maybe that's what I want to push. You are passionate in love with yourself for 2025. And, more realization coming through and how you know how to be fully healed and maybe the perceived parts of brokenness just don't even exist. And so I want you to just even take a moment and feel your heart space. Physical touch is really nice, right above the breast line, right below the clavicles, right there. What if you were just to take a moment to be with your heart, to feel the tone sounds of your own wellness, of your own instinctual space of knowledge, of healing, and knowing that healing is here right now in this specific timeline. It only takes moments of quiet to experience new and present things. I'm not going to give you too much to that because you have to be with yourself and see what wants to come through. You don't have to have visions and feelings and sensations. You could, but I would even push those away for now. Save those for something else. Save those for some galactic spirit guide meditation. Just really just being in the nature of your own being. And I hold much love for those that are really in those chronic suffering spaces. I understand from my own reality what that's like, and I had to watch it around me, and especially with my mom. It's really tough to be in the witness of an observation, and I see it out in the world. I see it with people on Facebook and friends, and I think about them. They probably don't even know I think about them. And I'm just in like, watching and hearing the stories of suffering. I'm like, wow, what is this disease thing? And I am in this very interesting relationship with healing and restructuring our patterns, not through any specific modality. I think there's a lot of great modalities out there that we all kind of experiment with, which is great. But I don't feel like it's the one thing that cures or whatever the cure is, right? We're so layered and we exist in so many places at once, and we are changing history and timelines, and there's other light high frequency beings, like there's so much happening, right? And we get to gravitate and open to whatever it is that we are being asked to, right? Because you are on a mission. You are a new earth bodied human, and you are on a mission to expand and be, you know aligned with whatever your mission is. And that's really wonderful. And there's so much love in that. And now I just want to offer you, I feel like now that I'm announcing it, it should be available. It probably won't be available for the next day or two. It really depends. There's some energy of what I'm birthing right now. And the Mighty Networks, I will actually be birthing a new, I'm going to say it out loud now. Say it out loud, Kelly. This has been in creation for a few months, actually. And it is a monthly, super affordable group. It's just like not really that much money at all. It is the Inner Medical Intuitive. That's not in, it's called Your Inner Med. Look, I can't even get the words out. Your Inner Medical Intuitive. Heal yourself with intuitive health care, holistic and psychic comprehensive self-care. What is that space about? This is a space to gain power of your health in body and mind. It's for building the practice or of prevention and health awareness. And it's for healing and being with chronic health challenges that feel never ending to actually create change. And I know that your inner medical intuitive is with you. You are intuitive, you have information, and I am here in that space to remind you and to sit in certain frequencies of consciousness and time and using the portals of earth energies to help us. And everybody will have their own connection, their own experience with nature, going outdoors, being in the sun, the winds, the trees, the moon, the ocean, the seas, the lakes, the creeks, whatever it is of nature, and you are that, and you are vibrating in that space. And in this psychic comprehensive self-care, there's going to be a lot of options to just tune in to connect with your own, updates on the future, what I call is the future of health freedom and autonomy. And messages that what are the messages that we are holding and what can we share collectively, and heart like mindedness, right? And there's going to be, that's just one level. There's another level if you're really wanting to go deeper into your own psychic comprehensive care. I cannot say that word. And if you are on my newsletter at spiritbabymedium.com or newearthchildren.com, you will get the first to get this information. Of course, it'll be on Instagram at some point at Spirit Baby Medium and also at Earth Medical Intuitive. It's really open to everybody and anybody that has the strong desire to remember their own body's intelligence of healing. And there's no special method or technique. It's showing up together and seeing what is the method and techniques that want to come through us. And that's really having to really let go and surrender to the love that we are, and to be able to be in a space in that together will up level, I feel like, and gets to rise us into whatever it is that serves. And keep an eye out on the Mighty Networks for that, and you will see that posted and shared. I want to say like right now, but yeah, I'm not working that way these days. Everything wants to come in its own, heart alignment, I suppose. And so wherever you are, really just don't worry about going into the past. We are moving forward. You are forward energy, because right now in this very moment, you are complete, you are light, you are whole. Take a breath with that. And I thank you for joining Medical Intuition, Healing from the Inside Out, your new Earth body. Thank you for joining Spirit Baby Radio with your host, me, Kelly Meehan. Please join my community and stay in touch with monthly energy rants, Spirit Baby poetry, and get access to Spirit Baby 101 with tips and practices at my newsletter at newearthchildren.com, and join me on Instagram with lives at Spirit Baby Medium, and join the Mighty Networks, the Spirit Baby Collective membership, and Motherhood to Mediumship. Remember, you are the heart that holds communication, and it is your time to connect. Come share in the great shift of your mind and the true spirit of your heart with Spirit Baby Communication.